Welcome back, Sports Ranter Nation and all sports ranters around the world. I want to thank you, Nick, and thank you, Drew, for being here again once again today for all of our viewers who need to find a way to let go of some of their anxiety, let go of some of the way that their pride has been hurt somehow over the weekend or the day with some type of free agency signing or some type of thing that happened regardless, some things that are still lingering with the Raiders organization. Anyway, we anything that you want to rant about, that's what we're here for. We only do it if it's fun. And so, Drew, I'm going to pass it to you right away. Thanks for joining us. Nice to see you.
What up?
Please, last week we hit a little bit on the free agency, on how it kind of hits and skips fantasy, and what's going to happen with the draft coming up. So please, just give us your little what's been going on in your head. Give it now, and we'll just get it rolling.
Well, I mean, there's definitely some signings that are always worth noting, right? I mean, there's these younger guys um, that some teams didn't want to get, or whatever, didn't want to sign to the big contract, and they go to another team and they end up doing pretty well. Or you get these guys who are a little older vets that maybe had like a down year, right? Like a down year, and you're looking to swoop them back up on a chance to get like a little redemption when they go to a new team. I think perfect example of that is DJ Moore, right? DJ Moore to Buffalo.
Mm.
I think he's going to be able to be a true one. I'm sure you guys touched on it last week with Jake being on the episode,
Mm.
but obviously DJ Moore with a cannon like Josh Allen just is great success. I think Romeo Dobbs. A lot of people might be sleeping on Romeo Dobbs with Drake May. Um, and then the one that just happened a couple days ago, you bring Jalen Waddle and Cortland Sutton onto the Broncos, and all of a sudden, Bo Nix not only was already on my radar as a fantasy quarterback that I wanted to try to get a little bit more on the cheap, right?
Oh.
Because I think Bo Nix is one of those kind of guys where he has an up and down season. He's one of those quarterbacks where people will look at him, but they'll take the more for sure fired guy before they go and take Bo Nix, right? So I think Bo Nix could kind of be like that Drake May that you got last season, right? You're close to the end of the rounds of the fantasy. You know what? Let me take Bo Nix. He's got the fantasy upside as rushing, and now you got two absolute studs at wide receiver. There's no excuses. They just re-signed J.K. Dobbins. So the Broncos is an offense for me. I kind of like exploring going into the offseason. Obviously, as a Niner fan, bringing Mike Evans and Christian Kirk.
Mm.
Um, so, I mean, that I like that a lot. I think Jawan Jennings is as good as I think he is. The fact that he still says he wants $20 million a season,
Mm.
when you see these guys getting fractions of that. I don't know. I think his price is he's a little delusional right now in his price. I think he's going to end up settling for like a 13 or $14 million deal with another team. And I think the Niners tried, but at the end of the day, you can only do so much. As far as fantasy upside goes, like who else I think can be relevant. You guys might not like it, but Justin Fields, first couple weeks when Mahomes is out, Mahomes is going to be out. They just got K9, they got Kenneth Walker, which I love in that system. It sounds like they're trying to do everything they can to probably bring back Tyreek Hill. How many games he might miss or this, that, and the other, we'll see. But you bring in Justin Fields with a great offensive mind of Andy Reid, who makes things work. I just wouldn't be surprised if for the first few weeks from Mahomes being out, Fields is like top 5 QB in fantasy. It just wouldn't surprise me at all. Just
Holy moly.
He's just one of those guys that take like a flyer on the very end of the draft. I'm at this point now where I like having two quarterbacks in my roster now, which I never ever have done. But I like to have that because
All right.
matchups matter so much now in fantasy wise, and the upside of a Russian quarterback is huge.
So, real quick before you continue, so now that dickish move that I pull on you by getting two quarterbacks before you have in your one is going to hurt you even more now.
I mean, kinda. I'm still gonna take a quarterback relatively late, like I always do. but I
Me
have I
too.
have the I'm not taking the top five quarterbacks like a lot of these people do. I think Trevor Lawrence can be an absolute stud. Um, there's some of these guys that they're
Yeah,
just you look at the upside potential possibility,
yeah,
and I'll gamble on two upside quarterbacks instead of taking a quote unquote for sure lock in the top 5 rounds. I'm just not going to do that.
yeah.
I'll take my risk on two
That's right.
two younger, riskier quarterbacks, and then I'll play the upside game. I'll play the matchup, and I'll handle it that way.
And that's why you've been up there in the top in that league. Just real quick, Nick, to let you know, it was almost like a given thing. There's another guy named Corey, another really good in the other league. He knew it. He knew it was coming up. He paid attention to the board. He knew that I already had a quarterback and Andrew had none. He knew the way I drafted, and he would like blast it in the league. He's like, "Ben, are you gonna do it?" And I would take a second quarterback before Drew even got his first, but it didn't phase him. And that's I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. Good job there, Andrew. Nick. Only 1 week has passed, but a lot has happened since the last we have spoke. Please give us your retrospect of what's happening now, especially with that Jalen Waddle pick. Ugh.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
Jalen Waddle
that's
trade.
really the biggest move. I mean, I don't know if I want to talk more Crosby. He came on his podcast, and either way, I will. Now that I've looked into it, when we first talked about it, it had just broke, right? So we didn't hear anything. Uh, Now hearing plenty of it, hearing Crosby and hearing even other former players, um, you know, I don't really care that they like screwed the Raiders over. I think they screwed over Max Crosby. I think it was effed up. I think the Ravens got cold feet. It had nothing to do with his medical. And I think it was a bunch of BS. And I hope the league does investigate it. I've heard some players say that they hope the league does something about it. Obviously they didn't do anything illegal, but um, to I firmly believe if Trey Hendrickson gets signed on Monday or Tuesday, they don't drop out of the deal. And that's just dishonest. I get they followed the rules. I don't give a shit about that. I
Wow.
don't care. That's fine. They followed the rules. But they got cold feet. The whole medical thing is all BS because they knew he just came off surgery. They knew all that. They knew it wasn't going to be fully repaired. They knew he's still recovering. They knew all that stuff when they offered it. So that all of a sudden, oh, we just saw something. Uh, Everybody knows Trey Henderson. Trey Henderson just had surgery too, right? And he only played 7 games last year, right? Oh, and he just passed his physical flying colors. No problem. Why? Because you're not giving him two first-round picks. They 100% got cold feet. And again, as a fan, like I said it last week, I'll say it again. Like I don't even know how to feel. I have a Max Crosby jersey. He's a Raider. He's gonna be a Raider for life. He's a Hall of Famer already. Like there's nothing more he needs to prove to a Raider or a Raider fan. He's got my support for the rest of his career. Um, so am I excited to have him back? Sure. I mean, I'll take him all day long. Luckily, luckily, we had the most cap space or second most in the league. So, having him back even after all the guys we promised to sign already, we still could actually fit him into our, you know, salary cap. But, the other thing I'm excited for is that, I mean, like everybody is saying, is I think we're gonna get the best Max Crosby ever. Like you woke up a beast. Like he played with a chip on his shoulder and a motor already. Like you don't think he's gonna go out there and try to prove the Ravens wrong here. So I like that as a fan. Could he still possibly get traded? Sure, but I just don't know. Like the Raiders say no. The Raiders aren't going to budge on the first 2 rounds, and so who's going to offer 2 first-round picks now? Like no one. So I'm operating under. He's going to remain a Raider with a little question mark, and you know what I actually see happening, um, and this is kind of unfortunate because the timelines don't match. Yeah, I want to keep him, and I think he's going to help us win. I like all our defensive signings. I think our defense, especially with Max, has a chance to be one of the most improved units in the league. But are we really ready to win now? We're on a 3 4 year plan here, and
Mm,
Crosby's on a 1 to 2 to 3 year max. Got to win the Super Bowl thing. So I understand that as a fan. I completely get it. As just a fan, I want to watch Crosby on my team dominate. But as far as business, team building, where we're at, like that's why they gave. I mean, that's why they traded him is because hey, we'd rather have 2 first round picks, continue to build with young staff, and then let Crosby go to a contender, let him compete. Thank you for your service. He's been amazing with the Raiders. No bad blood there. And Max has even came out and said that, like even coming back, like there's really no bad blood. Like the problem he had with Pete Carroll and all that, for benching him and all that stuff. Like I mean, he's out the door. But to wrap it up, I think he might get traded during the season. Is what is
wow.
possibly get it because I don't think anybody in the off season
Wow.
is going to offer because right now they're not desperate, right?
Right.
We lost all the leverage. There's no
Correct.
leverage for him.
Correct.
But when if he comes back and he proves that he's healthy, right, and they see him running around, trust me, these contenders right before the trading deadline, who are just a pass rusher away, which a lot of teams always are. They're just call it whoever, call it the Bears, call it the Chiefs, call it the whoever. I don't know. We don't know what the records are going to be, but just middle of the season, right before a couple weeks before trading deadline, that team that thinks they got it, thinks this is their year, they're rolling, and they need one pass rusher away. Maybe they get desperate enough because then we have the leverage again. So right now we don't have any leverage, so I don't see anything happening. Middle of the season when a team's like, hey, we can win this, like we can do this if we need a pass rusher, similar to what the Packers did last year with Micah Parsons, stuff like that. That's when a team gets desperate. They're willing to give them more, and so we'll see what happens.
Fantastic. Well, real quick, just a real quick shout out. I want to say thank you to Seth for showing up here once again, blowing up the comment
Hey,
space, blowing up this all Raider situation. It is kind of unique, but kind of a
Seth, pop us a question. Seth, pop us a
yeah. So
question.
anything you got, Seth? Please, you want to rant about? Are you sad about losing Jalen Phillips to the Panthers?
Or the Kobe Dean.
Or hey, like if you got anything you gotta be upset about, we're here for you. I don't know if you're gonna catch any support, but we love you nonetheless. And so thank you for being here. And so yeah, man, free agency has been crazy. Like I said, we're all excited about Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs, Jalen Water to the Broncos. There's a lot of fantasy implications. The productions that we had last year that might change up the draft strategy and where we're looking at people and how we're going to draft them. AJ Dillon is now a Panther. How does that change things up? I went from blowing up Chuba Hubbard again to great value to now
you're
you.
fine.
I understand, but the only where my mind goes is AJ Dillon wasn't used last year. So he has fresh legs, and what we need is a fourth down, 1 yard guy. That's all we
Oh,
really
and then,
need.
Tell you what,
Holy shit. Tell you what,
hey,
let's pass it to Jake real quick.
oh,
Uh,
shit.
okay.
I'm gonna
Okay.
show you all how it's done here today.
Whoa.
We're going straight to it.
No
Live,
shot, it's a
baby.
strike.
If
No
it's not a
shot,
strike,
it's a
it sucks.
Come
strike.
on, come on.
Oh, that's not a strike.
No
That's not even close.
shot.
No, no, no,
No,
no.
that's not it. That's not it, champ.
You
How
gotta,
it's done.
you gotta work a little
You
harder.
need another beer, buddy.
I love it. Yeah. Come on, baby.
You need another White Claw, dude.
Spare.
Oh, that ain't it.
Spare.
That ain't it.
Again.
Spare.
You
Why
hit
is
it
it-
again.
Did the thing block you?
I killed it, guys. Hey,
The-
just
the-
checking in,
the
saying
thing-
hi. I'll see you guys later. We're just getting ready to fire it up.
Love you, Jake. Good
guys.
man. Good man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Holy shit. All right, let me give it a chance to read what Seth here read. Rest and see. Well, Woolen is our secondaries. Okay, we're going to join.
Yeah, Tariq Woolen's a good pickup for them.
AJ Brown.
He's still not traded yet, so I guess they're gonna keep him. So it's just one of those things where I think AJ Brown's dead money for them is not worth the trade value. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're gonna get a haul for AJ Brown, but you still have to pay. Like, they're gonna lose a lot of money on AJ Brown if they were to get rid of him, this, that, and the other. So there's AJ Brown's situation. Yeah, it sounds good to trade him, but When it comes down to the business side of things and how much money they'd have to eat as a franchise, it's almost just let's just keep him. It is what it is. Yeah, he's a donkey and he's always a problem in the locker room or whatever it seems like, but his production on the field is always normally pretty good. And like I said, they got a new offense coordinator now, and this, that, and the other. So there should be no more excuses. But it's time to see if Jalen Hurts can live up to the contract. And Jalen Brown, or not Jalen Brown, but Jalen Hurts live up to the contract, and then you want to see AJ Brown. You want to see AJ Brown do it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we all know he can. We all know he's capable. But it's like, get on the same page with your coordinator and become an offense that actually is fun to watch, not tush push football. And I can't stand the offense of the Eagles. I just never have. And so hopefully this year they can get a little something going. Devontae Smith might be relevant again. He's somebody who you should look out for in fantasy drafts. He's gonna probably fall ninth or 10th round. Like, he's gonna fall drastically, I think, in a lot of rounds, and he's gonna get slept on. And yeah, he can get hurt and this, that, and the other, but when he's on the field, he's a monster. He is an absolute monster.
I mean, I had him last year. I got him late too, not that late, but he's boomer
He's gonna
bust.
drop even farther. He's gonna keep
I
dropping.
know
People
because
are,
he's boomer bust, and I don't know if
Yep.
that changes. I don't know if that changes. I'm only liking him if they trade AJ Brown. I don't. He's boomer bust while he's there. He had one decent, a little more consistent when they went to the Super Bowl and the offense was humming a little better.
Wow.
But the last 2 years and before, like, he's boomer bust. And yeah, he would win me some weeks, but he was more bust than boom.
For sure, for sure.
And it's
He's
and
he's a
I mean,
he will,
and again, if he's your third, I would say fourth receiver, fine. That's what you're getting down there.
yeah.
Possible upside,
But
but I do want to say, and I know I'm not being a homer here, but you guys are gonna think I am. Running backs are always a topic, and because of free agency and everything that's changed, keep your eye on Ashton Genty. He's
he's,
obviously not going in the first round, and I don't know how far he's gonna drop. But
yeah, that's fair.
dude, bringing in a new center, we signed the guard from Buffalo. Colton Miller's coming back. Clint Kubiak, obviously rookie quarterback. What do you think you're gonna want to do? Our defense is vastly improved. We're gonna want to play defense and run the ball more. I
No,
mean,
yeah, that's fair.
and the
That's
thing
totally fair.
is, I know everybody like thought he had a bad year because of the first round pick and fantasy. He
But
was
what
the
did he
11th
finish at
running
in
back.
fantasy? Like, he didn't finish that
He
bad.
he was the 11th running back. And let
Yeah.
me just go off. He finished ahead of Devontae Williams, everybody's
Right,
MVP.
right.
He finished ahead of Saquon Barkley. He finished ahead of Josh Jacobs. He finished ahead of DeAndre Swift.
Sure.
He, like everybody thinks he was like the 22nd, 25th running back in the league.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
It
He
wasn't.
had monster games. Like, he had a few monster games,
He
obviously.
did have
Yeah,
a
I
few
get that.
monster games that carried him, but I had him. He was, again, I'm not saying he lived up to the number one pick. He did not. But he wasn't as bad as people thought. Like, he was
Right.
consistently 14, 15 points just on workload alone. Like, on workload alone. Now, new coach, competent quarterback, a new line. Ashton Genty, I think, led the league in yards after contact. He also led the league in most contact or getting contacted before the line of scrimmage. Like, he was in the top highest rates of breaking tackles. Like, every metric other than the actual yards, because our O line sucks. He was great. It's just it didn't manifest because literally he got hit behind the line so often. So again, I don't want to be a homer. I'm going through because we're talking fantasy and all the.
No,
I'm
I
trying to
agree
find
with you.
bright spots because the obvious points we already know the obvious guys is that like I just think people are gonna sleep on Ashton Genty, even Saquon. Like,
Yeah.
one down year, it's like okay,
Mm.
we know the talent's there. Like the Eagles tend to turn things around. They're kind of a every other year type of team so far. If you're getting Saquon in the second, end of the second, like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know how
Yeah.
that's not a bargain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
No, yeah, for sure.
regardless of what it is, because of the position too. And
A
like you
hundred
said,
percent.
like, with receivers, you got to look at guys who got hurt, guys who, like, where's Nico Collins going? You know what I mean?
Like, there's another one too. Like,
Mm.
I mean, like Michael Pittman, right? Like, dude, you had no quarterback play, zero quarterback play. and then now you're gonna probably go like you're on the Steelers now, which. By the way, the Steelers made some sneaky good moves this offseason as well. They picked up Rico Dowdle from the Panthers with Jalen Warren, and it's like that combos should be deadly. And then, yeah, I mean, yeah, Aaron Rodgers probably could play quarterback again, but guess what? Aaron Rodgers was pretty damn good. And how many touchdowns DK Metcalf dropped last year? He dropped an abundance of touchdowns. And it's like DK Metcalf's another one who I like. I mean, he's been
Well,
consistent.
let,
Um, and Michael Pittman, those receivers are pretty damn good receivers.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Drew, because I want to roll that into the next subject. Is it okay for Aaron Rodgers to do his little weight thing again? You
He's
know,
annoying as shit, bro.
I'm sorry.
He's so annoying, dude.
Yeah,
Like the way that
thank
he
you,
is,
thank you. Let's talk about it because come on now. Like I get it, you're Aaron motherfucking Rodgers, but now out of respect, Mike Tomlin out of the Steelers, you did do something significant that we could see, on game days. It wasn't the greatest, but right, we're making some moves. And what the freak, dude? Show up. Let's go. Let's get to work.
it's it's
I
so
don't
annoying too
care
because
if you're
Exactly
Aaron
what Brett Favre did.
fucking Rodgers.
Like it's so ironic that
it's
he's
just
doing
like
what Brett
because
Favre did.
the thing is
Same
with
shit.
the
They thought that they
Steelers,
thought
Same
they.
shit.
It's
Same
almost
shit.
like reminds me of my mom and my sister. They fought so much only because they were so much alike, and they ended up being the same. I don't know what's up
I
with that.
wonder. And this is just a. I'm shooting in the dark here. Because the Packers don't have an owner, I wonder if like for Brett Favre, we have two quarterbacks now back to back who have the biggest head in the world. And Brett Favre was a little more down to earth, not as annoying as Rodgers. But like they both thought they were, God's gift to football, and that they could do whatever they want in every offseason and just hold teams hostage. And I'm just wondering, when you just your whole career you're with an organization that doesn't have that oversight, right? Like that true, I'm scared of the owner. Like the owner will get me the f out of here. Yeah, they got GMs, but you guys all know that's not the boss. That's not the same as, you know, Mark Davis walking in the room, or all these owners, Jerry Jones or whoever. Like that's not the same. Having to play under them. So I'm just because it's been so similar in how they manage their offseason and how I think is unfair and annoying. Like Drew was saying, I wonder if and they just both happen to come from Green Bay, both played their great careers under Green Bay. Like I wonder if that sense of entitlement is greater because you have, you know what I mean? You're the shit. There's no one really over you. They both fought with their coaches. They both did it. You know what I mean? You had nobody to like crack the whip. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
That's a fair point. And the fact that he's on the Steelers too, and the Rooney family, like in general, like I mean, what they don't fire coaches, right? I mean, obviously they just don't. Like, yeah, Tomlin's always had a great success. Cowers had good success. This, that, and the other. Like, dude, they've had like what, maybe 3 coaches in the last 50 years. Like, they just don't fire coaches. Obviously, they're always relevantly successful, but so they did not necessarily need to. So I feel like with Aaron Rodgers, they're just kind of like, oh well, these guys are chill. Like they'll wait and this, that, and the other. They hired Mike Holmgren basically for him to stay. You know what I mean? Like it's like why else do you hire Mike
Well,
Holmgren?
even the moves.
Like the moves all make sense
get.
for him to stay. Like you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where it's like you have a great running back tandem now, and both those guys, like I just said, and you got two receivers that can stretch the field, which Aaron Rodgers likes to do.
But that's what I'm saying. And there's no tight end because he doesn't use tight ends anyways. Who gives a shit, right? He has everything he freaking needs. That's my point.
The thing that sucks is like they're not gonna be able to go get Ty Simpson now. Like Ty Simpson, he's been killing it in the drafts. Like he's rising up the boards. I think he's gonna get drafted before the Steelers even have a chance to draft him. And so it's like at that point, like if you're not getting Ty Simpson or you're gonna get Francisco Mendoza, after those guys, there's a deep like grade level of like, these guys aren't that good.
My question is, Drew, what's the point then? Like, why are you even fucking playing football?
Because they
What's
can still be
the
relevant.
point?
They can still be relevant. And that's the thing with the Steelers. That
No, Andrew. That can't be the reason. Aaron Rodgers is hanging in there on the line because they could be relevant? No.
Aaron Rodgers cares about money.
Did John Elway just walk on the line because he could be relevant? Did all these guys that walked off their careers just walk the line because they thought they could be relevant?
Look, bro, these guys are. Aaron Rodgers is 42 years old.
I don't exactly.
He wants to play.
Exactly.
He wants to play because he wants money, and he wants to try. And I'm not gonna lie, that team is pretty damn good.
So the Steelers of all organizations are going to allow this guy to smear?
They've been doing it for how long? They're okay with relevancy for how long? I mean, Mike Tomlin's a fantastic coach, one of my favorite coaches of all time. But let's be real. When's the last time they got out of the first round? They're okay with it. They're clearly okay with it. They're okay with being relevant, but not being like a full-on Super Bowl contender. If they would have made the firing a couple years ago with Tomlin.
Good point.
I think they're more delusional than that.
Good.
I think every year they actually believe they have a shot. It's not that they.
And I think they have a decent shot.
They don't want to take their own medicine. They don't want to accept that they need to rebuild because they're the Steelers. The Steelers don't rebuild. So it's more of a. It's not that. Hey, we're happy with just making the playoffs.
Because we're a winning team. We're a winning team.
In the first round. I don't think they're okay with it. I think they're pissed every year. The thing that they are not, in reality is their team isn't as good as they think it is every single year. And so they're mediocre and they just get into the playoffs. They beat some good teams here and there. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat. But none of us in the last 6 years ever were like, oh, Steelers got a chance. They're gonna make a move. Like none of us ever in the playoffs. We don't pick the Steelers to make a run. We haven't and ever. And that's the delusion, and that's where I think their moves were bad, and I think they should have taken the time to, hey, we're gonna tank this year. The not on purpose tank. Yes, you still.
Well, the hope is that they can do it this year. That's the hope. But is bringing in Aaron Rodgers doesn't make sense for you to do that. You're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're clearly not going to. What they needed to do is when Mason Rudolph was quarterback. After that's when they needed to do it.
Yeah,
they should have never brought in Aaron Rodgers.
Do it now. Don't go trade for Pittman. Don't sign Rico Dowdle. Just stick with their team. Let Aaron Rodgers go. Get whoever.
Did Kirk Cousins sign yet?
No.
Quarterback you want to throw in there, ex-quarterback to just fill in the spot, because we all know the quarterback class next year is strong or stronger, supposed to be stronger. We'll see how the season plays out.
Yeah.
If you go 9-8 again with Aaron Rodgers, you ain't getting one of those quarterbacks again. So now you keep stringing along this 8-9, 9-8 team forever, and they'll probably go out and get Kirk Cousins to fill in for the next year, and then they'll go out and just get Daniel Jones once he's cut from the Colts in a year or two, and then they'll just go out and, you know what I mean, just to stay mediocre instead of, hey, let's take our medicine, let's just reset a little bit, one season, we'll still put a team out there, get a top 10 pick a quarterback next year.
Let's talk about this real quick. Do the Steelers know that all these college quarterbacks, minor freaking shit, ain't worth the NFL? So they don't go after the Ben Roethlisberger quarterback because we haven't seen a pocket pass quarterback for a long freaking time. So maybe there's something that we don't know.
Well, eventually you're going to run out of old quarterbacks.
But at the end of the day, dude, like this league is evolving so much that I think any quarterback nowadays that is becoming relevant to success, that's youthful and young, they have the element of a run to them. Jaden Daniels for the injury, of course, and even these guys, Bo Nix, they have the ability to be able to go scramble. Even Brock Purdy, he's got a little bit of shuffle in his feet. Jalen Hurts. And he's got a little shuffle in his feet. So it's like all these guys can move. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't have those statues anymore anyways. They're non-existent. And if they are, they're old and they're not that good of a team. It just doesn't happen. They're just not. And so that day and era of football it's over, dude. You have to have a quarterback that has the ability to move the pocket, because the D line and the pressure from these pass rushers now, The offensive linemen, they just can't hang. That's really what it comes down to. The offensive linemen, they cannot hang against these guys, and it's clear as day. Like, it really is. They need to get more athleticism on the line and not just beef. And I feel like, that's kind of what the next phase is going to be, and that's going to be
pocket
insane.
presence. Yeah, pocket
Like,
presence.
that's going to be insane. Once offensive linemen start getting to be like, because offensive linemen are still beefy, right? Like, they're not like the athletic, but once, and it's going to happen because only left tackles right now are like that, but centers, stuff like that, they're going to start. It's just a natural thing that's going to happen in the league, is that everybody that's playing this game is going to be like 260 pounds and just agile as shit, because that's just what is going on in youth sports. Like, 13 and 17-year-olds, I coach them all day, and that's all it is speed and athleticism like nobody's business, dude.
And I completely agree. Like and yeah, you hit it just right, Andrew, because when you have an athlete who's young, right, or even coming up, you know, we always say they're getting bigger, stronger, faster. They could only get so big, so fast, so strong, but they are getting, say, more athletic, so to speak, or whatever. You ain't putting that guy on the O line.
Mm-hmm.
You put your least athletic guys on the O line. Now, I'm not saying O linemen aren't athletic. I know in the NFL they're athletic as hell. But in comparison to the D linemen, they're not as athletic, right? Because when he's a monster, you don't put him at left tackle. You don't put him at right tackle. You make him go rush the passer. That's where the Myles Garretts and all these guys are coming from. It's just like, and like you said, and even like the mediocre pass rusher, dude, we have a lot of, like Drew said, like, there's a lot of pass rushers, and I can't name them all, but there's a lot of pass rushers in the league where these quarterbacks don't have the time they used to have. You know what I mean? Back in the day, if you're an athlete, you're a running back and a wide receiver. You know what I mean? You weren't put on the D line. These linemen are more athletic than some of the receivers. These linemen are faster than some of the receivers. You know? Mm-hmm. That was not the case in the 90s. If you were fast, you were on the outside, or you were the running back. And that's just, we have so many more.
Especially if you're a 6'6", right?
Yeah, and now we got D linemen 6'6", 280, who can outrun a receiver. Like, that doesn't make any sense, but that's what we got. And so, yeah, Drew's right. You need a quarterback who can be mobile. Now, I don't think you can win with a running quarterback. That's still yet to be seen. We haven't seen it. But they have to have the ability to run and evade. But you still got to be a pocket passer. You win in the NFL by making your passes in the pocket, reading blitzes, reading defenses. But we know big plays, just a play here or there, you scramble away on a third down, this and that. That's what you need. If you can't get away, when you need that little clutch play, that's what Mahomes does. That's what Drake did.
That's why everybody has this boner about Arch Manning, dude. I don't know if you guys, watch some football next year, college football, and watch Arch Manning. There's a reason why he's talked about the way he's talked about. Like, yeah, it's obviously, you know, Eli and that pedigree, this, that, and the other, but watch this guy play football, dude. The guy can do exactly what you need, and it's going to be crazy because another Manning is going to be running the NFL in the next 15 years. The guy is going to be the head of, like, he's the guy already, dude. Like, once he comes in, he's going to change the franchise. Like, he's just going to. Like, I already know it.
But you know what? At least it's only going to be one. Hopefully there'll be somebody else too that's going to compete with them. But you know what? At the same time, it's going to make me freaking happy. As much as I hated watching Tom Brady and Peyton Manning destroy the Chargers in the AFC every damn year, it's going to be nice to see a straight up bona fide quarterback again. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still out there. I don't know why the league is kind of running away from it or whatever it's happening. You guys are all right. You know, I agree with you guys too. But there's still a hybrid. There's still a guy out there that can do both. You know what I'm saying? He's out there somewhere.
I think you got it, man. I think it's getting there. You're forgetting. I mean, I think Drake May is proving it.
Yeah.
Caleb is coming up. What's wrong with Caleb? Yeah. He moved a little bit. He's got a rocket arm. He's getting.
Now we're getting there.
You know, we got, you know, Jaden Daniels. He's more of a running guy. I get it. But he could throw
even your quarterback, man. I mean, Bryce Young can move, and he can still do some layer throws and this. That, yeah, he still has his moments where it's like, fuck, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, in general, like he's still.
Starting to see Trevor Lawrence come around.
Trevor Lawrence, beast. Yeah.
Well,
so Justin Herbert's a pocket quarterback. He chokes in the playoffs, but
because he's a Charger.
He has the athletic ability to run away when need be. But dude, the guy's a pocket quarterback. You can't. Herbert's not a running quarterback. You know what I mean?
No, 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 no.
He's a pocket quarterback who can, and I think that's what Drew's talking about. You need a pocket quarterback. Obviously, Sam Darnold, who just won it. He's not the fastest guy either.
But he got a little shake and bake on him.
Well,
Like
that's what I'm saying. He was able to move
Uh,
around a little bit, get out of a sack, and then make a play. That's all you need to do. Just be a. You can't be Jared Goff, and that's the problem. Like
exactly. That's exactly. That's
that's
exactly
where
it.
he's struggling. Is Jared Goff
Exactly
on
it.
time and everything. He'll shred you, but the minute he's got to step away, the guy can never
Toast.
lose one tackle.
Nice toast.
So
No,
it's
there are some
been tough
teams.
on him.
Like, I don't know how much time we got left right now. I know we're kind of floating around,
we're good,
but
brother.
there are some teams that just kind of. Who are the head scratching teams of the offseason for you guys? Because to me, there's a couple of them. I'm just like, what the. What are you doing? Like, I just don't.
We already
The
talked about the
Saints.
Steelers. That was one
The
of mine.
Saints. What are you doing? Like, you brought in absolutely nobody. Absolutely not a single person. You let your Alvin Kamara's gonna walk.
CTN.
Alvin Kamara's gonna walk. So it's like you're bringing in nobody. Like, so I just don't understand like that thought process, right?
like the
And then,
Jets
like,
bringing back Geno Smith.
Dude,
yeah,
that
but at
one-
least
that
but at
one.
least they got Minka Fitzpatrick and they got Demario Davis. Like they got some defensive studs. Like you know what I mean?
They
Like, okay,
they brought back Geno Smith.
cool. The Jets, bro.
No, let me
Yeah,
rephrase
so-
that. Let me rephrase that, Ben. They traded
Yeah,
for
that's
Geno
true.
Smith, okay? They traded. We were gonna release the guy. There's no way. I was stoked that we got a 6th-round pick. I don't even know how that. If you would have told me that was gonna happen, I would have been like, "You are in Mars. No one is gonna trade for Geno Smith." But here come the Jets. Let's give me a 6th-round pick.
Jets, Jets. You want me to answer the question? So when you ask these questions, Drew, do I automatically scratch the Jets off? That's how embarrassing they always are.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Okay,
But
sorry.
for you being a
Rephrase
Panthers fan,
it.
dude, for you being a Panthers fan, bro, you honestly should be thrilled. Like,
Alright.
you honestly should be thrilled. Like,
Let's
you
turn
guys
the
had a
volume
pretty good
down. Let's turn the volume down. Okay.
You guys should be thrilled. You know what I mean? Like, because I mean, like the Falcons, like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you bringing in Tua? You have Michael Penix. You just drafted him. And then, like, you go ahead and you still Kirk Cousins is gonna be gone. But now you got two left-handed quarterbacks who.
Yeah, what did the Bucks do? The
Aren't
Bucks
fucking-
didn't really do anything either, right?
No,
They
let
lost
go
Mike
back.
Evans, right?
Yeah, but they have a Mecca Ibuka, and they're like, okay, you know, let's get a little fountain of youth going. This, that, and the, I get that, you know, but like, it just, yeah, dude. If I'm a Panthers fan, I'm like, okay, this looks pretty damn good for me this offseason. You know, you guys got Jalen Phillips, and nobody really got outstandingly better in your whole division. You know, and everybody actually, I think, probably got a little bit worse. So, yeah, you should be happy. I mean.
Well, look, I'm not going to eat up the last 20 minutes on how stoked I am about the Panthers. I actually finally did all my homework. It's been a long time, and all the other signings that they've done as well. I'm sitting there talking to fucking Christian about it. You know, he's like, leave me alone, Dad. You know, and so, but I appreciate it, Drew. I'll tell you what makes me nervous is that Mike Evans, Christian Kirk acquisition for an NFC guy. I feel like if we do make it back to the playoffs, the Niners are going to be somebody that we're going to have to go through next year.
I think the biggest signing of the offseason for us was Drake Greenlaw back.
Oh, I saw that one too. It was, it was down there. I'm like, is that really Greenlaw back? Like Dre Greenlaw, that's right, back on the team. So I'm happy for you, and hopefully
if Nate Hobbs stays healthy, that'll be a better signing.
And hopefully Warner comes back. You know,
Warner should be back. Everybody, I mean, like it just having that presence. There was Larry. I think it was Larry Fitzgerald or TJ Houshmandzadeh. It was one of those guys, but I think it was TJ Houshmandzadeh's podcast, and he was talking about like how the way that Fred Warner talks about Dre Greenlaw is just like a whole nother level of respect that he's never really seen like from other people playing football. And it's like you can just tell the brotherhood that those guys have on the field together. It's just a whole different team when they're both on the field together, you know. And so, you know, obviously you hope injuries and this, that, and the other, you know, as much as we've had, but those guys can be on the field. And, you know, we got Osio Zigma from the Cowboys who who's been a stud. So it's like we have some decent pass rush. Bosa can step back. Like, yes, all the things are in play if we can get all those guys back healthy. But the Niners' curse is if they can stay healthy. So we'll see.
Real,
But obviously the
Yeah,
offseason for us, I love it.
I will say, yeah, it's good. My question with the 49ers is losing Robert Sala. So
mm,
I think last year,
mm,
like, dude, as far as not being like coach of the year, I mean, with all the injuries you guys had, and still were able to just be halfway decent.
wow.
Yeah.
It's a testament to Robert Sala and what he was doing there. Now, you guys always tend to play better, good defense, but I just don't know if, again, it's always different. It's a question mark. I'm not doubting it. You guys have talent for sure, but
Raheem Morris
you know,
isn't bad. I think Raheem Morris is a good you know
I mean, he had the Falcons defense usually pretty decent.
Yeah, I was gonna say like he's
So
not he's not terrible he's not terrible by any means. So it's like I don't mind him. I think he's probably the one most like highly coveted defensive coordinators that are out there. And I know him and Shanahan have you know some previous relationships back when they were on the Commanders and this that and the other. So there's some relationship stuff there that hopefully
I
can
just
work.
love Salah as a D
Yeah,
Dude,
for
coordinator.
dude
sure.
I love,
the
For
I love him
sure.
as a D
the
coordinator.
Titans coaching staff is crazy, bro.
Hmm.
Like I don't know if you guys looked at the Titans coaching staff, but they got quite a bit of talent. I mean, Robert Sala, Brian Dayball's their
Look,
Brian
offensive
Daboll,
coordinator,
right?
look, real
and
quick. Look, real
they got
quick.
talent, man.
I appreciate that comment. I want to toot on the Panthers real quick. David Tepper is still paying for the Frank Reich All-Star coaching staff he brought in 2 years ago and fired everybody. Fucking weirdo. Anyways, let me coot real quick with the Panthers before we move on to the last subject and close out the show. As far as the Panthers are concerned, I'm really excited that they have the Rookie of the Year, and the Offensive Rookie of the Year and coming in hot, and he really was legit. And also by the end of the year, they found their number two in Jalen Coker. If you guys paid attention to their games, it was just a nasty 1-2, especially on third and fourth down. The departure of Rico Dowdle is really good for the team because I tell you what, beyond Chuba Hubbard's ability, he knows how to help Bryce Young, and he knows how to help that team. And I'm really excited about his leadership. They fill in the gaps for the O line. Anyways, real quick, last place defense moves to half ranked defense. And then they add through free agency two top 5 players on the agency, and Jalen Phillips, pass rusher, and also Devin Lloyd with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I really thought they were going to draft and go after drafting a linebacker. They said, fuck it. We're going to go pay for him. And so all I'm saying is with what Andrew had said, I'm not going to get too excited, but they definitely got their needs. They're going to draft some impactful players like they had the last 2 years. I guarantee you that. But then I just think it's a push to get past where they got. They were fucking They were 3 points ahead of the Rams with 2 minutes left. Me and my son were dancing, right? We were dancing. But the difference, like you said, Nick, is coaching. No timeouts, down the field, show you how it's done to go score quickly and win the game. Whatever, the defense didn't show up. It is what it is. But all those things we talked about show up during those times, those clutch moments, So I think they spent a lot of money to get over this hump of a home game. Hopefully they travel somewhere else. Whatever it is, that's going to be an exciting year, and I'll be watching. All right. So speaking of, to end the show, you guys, SportsRanter talk, but we're all dads, we're coaches, we're all living the sports world. Okay, so we want to make this an open platform too for your questions. We want to remind you, for the sports ranters that are watching live or chiming in later to the show, please ask a question. Let us know. Let us know what happened at your practice, or let us know what happened at the game. That is just outrageous nowadays with some of these parents, right, Drew? So let's talk about some volunteers. I'm gonna start it off real quick. I'll pass it to you. I was having a great week. Great week, you guys. Smiles on my face. Nothing can trigger me. Okay. I go to the snack bar Saturday morning, and right there at the sign that says, if you don't like it, volunteer. Right? Now, I'm a coach. I volunteer. Right? So it's like, well, wait a minute. I don't like it. So am I allowed to fucking say something because I do volunteer? Let's see. Right? And so sure enough, right? Like I'm already triggered just with the sign because it's like what we're struggling with right now, Nick, in our community is this leadership that's within these boards and these parents and what they're doing and what it is. From my understanding in that position, if you're going to be a board member, it's your job to service the community and be willing to be open to take any type of criticism, open of any type of feedback. I know it's a crazy world, but that's what you signed up for, right? Not to tell people what to do and change the rules of baseball and make it a soft game and there's no outs and everybody's happy dumpy wonderland.
Yeah, I mean,
So, anyways,
it's tough.
volunteering your time and dealing with these parents and just dealing with these situations, it's kind of different than from what I grew up in. So I'm kind of struggling, you guys. Maybe you guys can help me fill in and let me know what's going on. Drew, you were mentioning you got a game this week and parents are just what, not showing up, asking you.
No, I mean, if you guys don't know, for everybody out there, I coach the YMCA. Well, I work at the YMCA. Basically like a sports director, basically of basketball. So, long story short, we do the leagues, we set up the brackets, the divisions, the this, that, and the other to make teams even, and then basically we help out, with the coaches on practice days, right? So like we'll help them with the dynamic stretching and this, that, and the other, and then what you're supposed to do is. You basically just after the stretches are over, you let the kids go to their volunteer coaches, and you kind of just supervise, and if there's any volunteer coach that looks like they're struggling or they need help, you step in and you help them. Like that's basically what my job is. Well, since I've been there, there's been such a lack of volunteer coaches. Now, I mean, are these kids still getting to practice? Sure. Are these kids, this, that, and the other? They're there. They're participating. But I'm in a environment and city where it's much different than anywhere like in San Diego, really. Like, I can see Lincoln High School. You know what I mean? You're in the ghetto of ghetto. Like it's a crummy neighborhood. You got these kids that are, they don't have a lot of structure wise, right? And so you realize, hey, these kids don't have a lot of structure and this, that, and the other, and they're kind of thuggish and this, that, and the other. And then you see their parents, and you're like, huh, well, I guess that's why we're not going to have volunteer coaches. You know what I mean? Like it's just,
Mm,
it is what it is. But with that said, I mean, these kids, they're eager to learn. They're eager to listen.
mm,
If you know what I mean. And that's the thing that I love about this job is
mm,
that, yeah, you might have some unprivileged kids and unfortunate parent situations, but you know, anybody with time and effort that wants to put in the effort to help these kids learn, they're able and capable to do it. You know what I mean? They just need a little bit of discipline and a little bit of figure that authoritated figure. And it's unfortunate because they don't get that often. But to make just that's what I love about sports, man, and I love about volunteering in general is if you can make an impact. For me, I always say I don't want to go out and use my time to go and help homeless people. And it might sound bad to some people, and so be it. I don't care. But those people, a lot of them choose to be homeless. Yes, there's a certain amount that don't and that have disprivileges and this, that, and the other, and so be that. But the majority of them, they choose to live that way. Kids, they don't choose that. They're that's what they are dealt with, and so for me it's if I can impact the youth and somehow some way make an impact on a kid and their future, by all means that's what I want them to remember. You know what I mean? Like, hey, that one coach really helped me. He changed a little bit of like the way I my outlook on life or the way I look at things, and if I can make an impact on just one kid a season, then I feel like that's the best thing I can do. You know what I mean? Like that for me is the most gratifying thing in my life. And so
100%.
yeah, like you can go work and this, that, and the other, and I don't make Jack Diddley squat at the YMCA, but I look at that as so much more of a passion than I've ever had in any job I've had, is because you're able to really change and see change and literally like just in
Mm,
the 2 or 3 months you see this kid just change, and whether it's on the court just because I'm there, okay, sure, but I guarantee there's gonna be a few things where he thinks about a little bit differently because I told him, hey, stop doing that shit. You know what I mean? Or and
absolutely.
so you know, it's it's fun. It's cool, but at the same time, it's like it's unfortunate that there's not other parents or this, that, and the other that want to try and do that dedication, and I get it, but at the
Well,
same time, it's like, dude, I look at myself. I got two kids and a wife, and my kid's not playing, and I'm in there. You know what I mean? And so it's unfortunate, but it
well,
is what it is.
I'm glad the world has hearts like yours, Drew, that's willing to sacrifice those times with your family just so that you can be a good example to other boys in the community. That's a calling now that I now hear loudly in my heart to not hold back, to not hide when the community, specifically the boys in the community, are screaming for leadership. Nick, is there anything that you could share about being a volunteer and some of the volunteers you work with?
Um, yeah, I mean, I share what Drew, you know, um, said right there, and I agree with you know majority of it, and I just feel like we all have a different calling, um, and I don't think that's what Drew was saying. I think some people are meant to try to help homeless. Some people are meant to help kids. Some people are meant to, just we all have different personalities. So for Drew and for us sports guys and how can we God made us a certain way. So how can we give back in the way that suits us best. And so like Drew was saying, we don't know these other type of community outreaches and stuff. That's not our forte, so to speak. So to be able to help in sports and be knowledgeable and coach these kids and be a role model and all that, because we're all great, outstanding citizens. So it's not only just the sports; it's the coaching, the respect, the following directions, like you said, the leadership, all that we can pass along just naturally is what suits us best. But it like Drew says, like, I mean, it is difficult. You do have to deal with parents, and especially on a volunteer. I got frustrated with my AYSO team last year, um, because I got to make decisions as a coach, and to to not be rude. Here's my rude part, Drew. Your kid sucks, and I don't know what to do with them, and I'm going to play them less than the other kids, and parents get mad,
Yeah.
right? But at the same time, um, I get it. It's for fun ish, but like, I think it's unfair to the other kids, right?
Boom.
Yeah.
Who are busting
Thank
their
you.
ass,
Thank you.
who are frustrated, who are
Boom.
pissed off every time this other kid fucks it up
Boom.
and ruins the game for them. Well, that's not no fun. And what am I teaching them? I mean, yes, try to support them, and I try to
Mm.
coach them in a way. Hey, we gotta lift up the weakest link as much as possible. But there's only so much you could do that. You know what I mean? So, dealing with parents, that's the one frustrating part with me. And again, I'm trying to be nice about it, but like I'm not horribly unfair, but like dealing with parents who don't understand their kids' abilities is frustrating. It's frustrating. And it's not like they're just riding the pine not doing a goddamn thing all day. I would never do that to a kid, right? Because that's also unfair. But, I follow the league minimums and play them half the game, and that should be enough. It's like, you know, I
It's tough. No, it is tough.
it's
Like,
tough. You know what I mean, Drew? Like it's
no,
just
it is.
tough.
It absolutely is. It's
You
hard,
know, in
and
this league, they're getting older. There's playoffs, there's championships,
yeah,
there's seeding, and I'm not trying to make it about winning, but I'm understanding your place too, like understanding, your. I've always thought self awareness is so important in life,
yeah.
just self awareness, and like not knowing that, you know, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna keep saying things that I don't want to say, but
Easy,
No,
you
easy,
know,
that's fair.
easy.
But
teaching
my,
kids
my
self
my whole thing
awareness.
is with child sports and stuff like that. Like for me, like I honestly, I have really debated if I want to coach Bryson at the young age of like
Mm.
until he's like 8. I really don't know if I want to. Like, I'll of course assistant coach, this, that, and the other. But being the head coach, to me, it just I don't know if I want to do it. And I'm not saying that as like just somebody who's mean or this, that, and the other. It's just I don't know if I want to take. I'd rather have Bryson learn the fundamentals. I feel like he's going to listen better. He's going to learn better from somebody else other than myself. And it's just like, yes, I'm there. You listen to what coach says, and if you can't listen to what coach says, then I'll talk to you, and I'll be your assistant. But listen to him, give him respect, and because if it's me, he's gonna be like, whatever, Dad, I don't care. And so it's like, you know what I mean? It's just like it's just different from somebody else that's talking, other than the same person that you hear all day. And so it's like, okay, once you know the fundamentals in the sport, let's play. Let's do what I got to do, because I'll upload a video on Saturday. We got the championship game on Saturday, and everybody in the YMCA, everybody in the YMCA is like, bro, are you serious? Like, because I am just relentless. I have a loud ass voice, and I will yell loud at these kids when they mess up, and it's like they're like, my boss is like, but then he goes in and he does what I tell him to do. You know what I mean? It's just like, just do it. I have this young kid on my team who just 13. It's a 13 to 17-year-old league. He's a great player. He's 13 years old. But it's like you have these costly turnovers as a guard because you're not looking. You know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, just calm down, let the game come to you, and then when you're open, then shoot the damn 3-pointer. And it's like he airballed twice, and I just took him out of the game right away. Get out. Right away. I knew he was going to airball right away. I just looked at somebody else. And I said, get up and get up. And I brought him back to the bench. And I literally said, word for word, what the hell are you doing? And he's 13 years old. And I'm like, whatever. You know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, let the game come to you. And I literally sat him out almost the entire game. And then I brought him back in. And then what happens? He makes a great steal. And he makes the easy 3-pointer in routine. I'm like, there you go, bro. There you go. But it's just, I can't do that at a 9-year-old. When it's 13, okay, yeah, maybe. But it's like, even then, I still kind of felt a little guilty afterwards. But it's like,
not everybody's Ben. Not everybody's Ben. Okay, don't.
So it's fun, but it's tough, man. It is fun. Selena. I think Selena's gonna be there on Saturday for the championship game. So I'll have her record some of the nonsense and try to post it up.
Look,
fantastic.
It's okay, Drew. You'll give yourself grace, and like I said, hats off to all those that volunteer. It doesn't give us the right to kind of do the things that we want to do. I totally hear you, Drew. I'm not coaching my son this year baseball for that reason. I'm giving him his space. He doesn't want to listen to me. He's going to get a different coach, and that's what he's got, and he's doing really, really good. But what I really liked was, here's what happened. While most parents are fucking picking at him for not starting him or not putting him at first base, he fucking sat Christian after a mistake. Christian got on base and stole his way to home like a fucking monster. Got his team in the lead, right? Next inning, stupid pitch to the pitcher, because he's a catcher, and they catch up off a stupid throw. So he gets one on his own, but gives two back on a shitty throw. He feels like shit already. Coach benched his ass. Right? My wife is pissed. He's never been benched. Right? Because he's been like always higher up the level, but that's his first year minor A. Right? I'm like, babe, we sought this. This is what he needs. Right? So I call the coach over. He thought I'm mad. Right? I go, dude, thank you. I've been telling him this shit for weeks. Fucking your lazy ass throw back to the pitcher because you think you're all shit. Whatever. Thank you. And he's just like, wow. But like I'm different. I know. I'm just a little bit different. But hats off to the volunteers and for you guys. But there's some too that go a little over the line. With that, you guys, we'll carry that into the next show on more stories and what happens. But just want to say thank you. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Drew, for being here once again. We're getting closer to draft day. So draft talk is going to happen. I know we already got Mendoza to the Raiders. I know it's already a lock.
We gotta do the rest of the mock. We gotta do the rest of the mock.
Yeah, we got to knock. So it's already a
I
mock,
know.
but we'll get to the rest. We'll get to the rest. I can promise you that. So thank you, Sports Ranters. Thank you, Sports Ranter Nation, and thank you guys once again. All right, peace with the journey, and one love.
Peace.
Take care, fellas.
Take it easy, guys. Thank you again.